The first question to you will be, how does AI enhance or complicate product thinking and the pursuit of customer value? You are on mute, Shubhu.
Yeah, thank you. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, thank you so much, Shubhra, for giving this introduction. Now, there are two parts of the question as I see. So one, how in this rapidly disrupting space, how AI can enhance the product management or product thinking, or how AI can complicate the situation. But before I directly go into the answer, I would like to take a step back. What is product management? Now, product management is to produce the offering, could be a service, could be a solution, could be a product, which is completely based on the customer centricity. So we are not here pushing the product to the customer, the intent, original intent, we are not pushing it to the customer. Rather, we are trying to explore the pain point of the customers and trying to provide a compelling value proposition in a desirable, viable, and feasible manner. Now, when we talk about customer centricity, what does it mean? So I would like to quote one of the Steve Jobs pointer that what is customer centricity. So from his point of view, customer centricity is you are so close to your customer, or you should have adequate knowledge about the customer that even before they understand they have a problem, we come up with a solution for them. That is customer centricity. Now, customer centricity is a mindset, and it is kind of getting implemented with the concept of design thinking. I'm sure like many of us may be knowing about it. So we'll touch upon some of the area. We cannot cover all of them, but we'll touch upon some of the areas of the design thinking and how AI can help us in getting there. Now, you must have known about customer journey mapping, prototyping, story mapping, right? And then persona, empathy mapping. How with AI, we are not going to discard these things, rather we can get more benefit or in a optimized benefit using this or to implement this kind of design thinking techniques. So let's start with the customer centricity. Now, AI can analyze massive data set, behavioral pattern, sentiment, using usage trends to uncover what customer truly value. Remember, I told you that desirable part. So desirable means what? Whether there is adequate demand in the market. Now, earlier people used to do a lot of market survey, right? They used to create a lot of user segmentation, etc. But now AI is kind of helping us by capturing the market data and trying to come up with a lot of a recommendation. Now, if I may try to give you some real-time examples, let's say a streaming platform using AI to predict that the users who binge watch documentaries are likely to upgrade to premium if offered exclusive content. So he might not be interested in the movies or the shows, but if we can offer them with more documentary discovery kind of stuff, he may wish to move to the upgrade. He may wish to move to an upgraded offering, which can, of course, give them some additional revenue. Now, you might have seen that a lot of banking apps are there who are predicting the customer financial need, both based on your expense and on your need. And sometimes they are offering some loans and also coming up with some credit card upgrade. Now, let me give an example. They must be seeing that, okay, you are using or you are purchasing a lot of flights very often, and they are coming up with a more credit card upgrade option, which can give you a lot of lounge access, which your normal credit card may not be offering. So this is how they're analyzing your buying pattern, your need pattern, your expense pattern, and then accordingly they are offering you a lot of benefits or a lot of new offering or recommendations. Now, let's say you are canceling Uber or Ola in a just short time interval, multiple time, and you are giving us some specific reason. So they may give you a call back. They will analyze immediately. They'll give you a call back and saying that what is the reason? And they'll try to give apology, and try to take some corrective action. I have personally experienced these kind of things. Now, coming back to personalization at scale. Now, AI enables hyper-personalized experience, making product more relevant to individual users. Now, I would like to first give you one of my very favorite example I would like to give when we talk about empathy mapping. What is empathy mapping? You may be coming up with a product, but the product features might change depending on the need of the customer. Same product, but depending on the need of the customers, your product can change based on certain questions. So this is what is called empathy mapping. First, you define the persona. You ask them what are your pain points, and accordingly, you can do the customization in your product. Now, the best example I can give you, the automobile variant. If you go for a, let's say, Maruti car, SX4 or whatever, or maybe a Hyundai car, or maybe a Kia car, why do you think there are so many variants in the car in the same model? Because we are trying to understand the need of the customer of different affordability or different choices, because we are trying to create some user segmentation, and according to the need, we are trying to come up with a lot of customizations. And sometimes we are also keeping a lot of flexibility, that even if some of the features you would like to include between two variants, you can also customize that. So this level of hyper personalized customer experience or experiences come here, which can make your product relevant to the individual user. Now, some people may be liking Spotify on a particular type of music. So next time onwards, even if there are Kishore Kumar, R.D. Varman, etc., but they will mostly coming up with all the ghazals if you are right in favor of ghazals. So they will try to understand what are your thing, and then they try to recommend something. But if you don't like it, they will come up with some other offerings as well. Same for MedPlus. You may be ordering a certain set of medicines. Next time onwards, right, they will come up with a similar kind of offering, or they can check with you. And if they don't find the similar medicine, they will also offer the alternative recommendations. So what level of personalization they are trying to come up with. Now, another thing is called rapid experimentation. Now, AI can simulate outcomes of the product changes before the implementation, reducing risk. Now, I would like to again give a very real example. We all know about Chandrayaan-1, Chandrayaan-2, Chandrayaan-3. Now, Chandrayaan-2 was very close to the success, but because of not having a proper soft landing, the mission was not successful. So, which was rectified in the Chandrayaan-3, and then it was successful. So fortunately, in my organization, on that year, in our leadership conference, we got Kalpana Kalahasti, who is the deputy director of ISRO. She came and told us the insider story. So they said, this time our director told us about 3 factors. 1, the speed with which the lander is coming down to the earth. 2nd, the inclination of the surface, which is unknown to us. And also the roughness of the surface, because we cannot exactly determine in which area it is going to land, even if we have got the best of the instrument. Now, remember, ISRO is not a very cash-heavy organization. They had limited budget. So they cannot create the simulations like what NASA can do. But still, they showed us with video. They created 500 plus simulation situation with a lot of permutations of speed, inclination, and the roughness of the surface. But they did not want to disclose the actual number because that is confidential, but they have shown us some of the video that what all things they have done. So they had plan A, we talk about plan A, plan B, etc. They said we had almost plan ZZ, right? So to ensure that this time it is not going to fail. Another example I want to give, I don't know how many of you have seen the movie called Runaway 34. So it was an excellent movie that Ajay Devgan was a very competent, it is a real story, by the way. He was a very competent pilot, but the situation was that he's landing a plane in a very, very difficult airport with a very adverse situation. And there was almost no chance of error, because if he's missing it by a whisker, then At least hundreds of people life will be at stake. But he landed it absolutely perfectly. But still, he was called for a kind of whatever they call their court martial to check that, okay, why did you take that chance? When even after telling you to return back to other airport, etc., when the fuel was reducing, right, when there were adverse condition on the weather, right, and it's a very, very bad runway, that why did you take that chance? He said, no, I was very confident. And after that, the medical investigation revealed that he was drunk. Someone actually mixed up some alcohol in his tea or something. But that's a different thing. But how he came out of the situation? So Amitabh Bachchan was a lawyer, and he created a simulation environment. Not he, a simulation environment created, and all those stress factor was infused in that simulation. Because no one can predict. How can we think that yes, Ajay Devgan was on top of, even if he was drunk, but he was on top of his confidence and still could land it properly. So we created that simulation, and then he was kind of considered as a yes. He was freed out of all the charges. So point here is AI can help us, right, with a lot of such simulations, right, before we actually go for the implementations to reduce the risk. Another aspect I would like to say, I don't want to go into too much of detail, called whole product thinking. So I think in one of my earlier talk also, I was talking about 4 areas of product thinking: core product, expected product, augmented product, potential product. So whenever you are launching a new smartphone, let's say in the 10,000 to 20,000 area, which is the most lucrative segment where majority of the buyers are there, why people will go ahead and buy your smartphone? So they are like these core product. What are the core features? What are the expected feature? Expected feature is that all the mobile or all the smartphones in that range, whatever features they are providing, our new mobile can include all of them. Now, is it possible to do it manually? Of course not. So here AI can help. What could be the predictive features which can ignite or influence the customer to go for these mobiles surpassing the already existing mobile? Again, AI can suggest. What could be those trigger factors, the trump cards, which can definitely convert the interest into the buying option or the buying thing? That can also be determined by AI. So AI has extreme power in terms of market segmentations and other things, a user segmentation. Now, coming back to the second part of the question, that is how AI can complicate the product thinking. Now, needless to mention that in the product thinking, right, bias, fairness, trust, these are very, very important, and where still AI has not been able to get to the core. Now, these are very common examples, like recruitment platform, right, having certain bias on certain colleges, certain university, certain area, right, or demography of the people where people are considered to be very, very qualified, and they will only focus on those area going for the recruitment. But that's not the case always. With too much of biasness, you may be missing out on the other area where people are also, the students are equally competent, in fact, can be much better. We all know about DigiYatra. Now, DigiYatra takes your photo of eye. If you are wearing a spectacle, it will tell you to take off your spectacle and then look into the camera. But we know that certain demographics of our country, especially Northeast and other, so where the eyes are small. So they are sometimes, like in the initial period of the DigiYatra, it was failing, and then they have rectified. So sometimes this bias and ethical dilemma can take us in a wrong product direction. Now, if you remember, like in our last meetup, that Somnath was telling a very important point, that if we are thinking that we are using the different apps to order of our own choice, that is completely wrong. They are forcing us to order. They are influencing us to order their product the way they think. So basically, they are controlling the customer choice based on the product offering and the recommendation. A health app suggests lifestyle changes based on the predictive analytics. Sometimes the customer may feel uneasy about the recommendation they did not request for because that's too personal. Now we know that the Zomato influencing our food choice. You may not be able to order your choice, but whatever they are having, or maybe unsold, they are offering those things as a recommendation. Amazon influence or Netflix Amazon influences our buying choice based on your historical pattern, or maybe who is verifying it, that whether it was really sold 5K time last month. But they will try to come up with some of the data points which might influence you to go for that particular one, saying that Amazon's choice last month, like so many people bought it, etc., etc. Netflix influences our genre choice. And sometimes the Make My Trip application influences our itinerary choice. So we are never in control of our options, rather we are influenced by the different app options, which is definitely in the back of that. AI is playing a big role. Sometimes over-reliance on the data can create a faulty product. The best example I can give you, Google Map. Of course, that is very useful. Without that, we are it's very difficult these days. But is it a foolproof choice? Google Map will always work on the short path. And sometimes you won't believe, it may take you to a road which is completely not navigable. Recently, we had a long drive in one of the remote part of West Bengal, and it took us to a position where after that there is only river. But it was still showing this is the way you should go, because there is a very narrow path in the river where no four-wheelers can go, but it was still showing that direction to us. Then what we had to do, we had to leave that Google Map. I told, stop the Google Map and let me ask local people to tell me that, okay, how can I go back? How can I reach to this destination? Then it helped. Sometimes they will, in the interest of finding shortest route, they can give you a jungle road, a muddy road, or something like that, just to show that they are giving you the shortest route always. So summarizing, product management is definitely going to be influenced by AI in the coming days, but with a little bit of control is required. You cannot just blindly trust the recommendations. Those are coming from the research, from the analysis that AI is providing. But you should also use your human intelligence sometimes before we actually take it forward.